hippity hopping over hill and dale. Da 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 da. Hippity hopping along.
Hello, my Facebook and YouTube followers. How you doing today? It's Saturday, and we're here to talk about what's happening during the week. It's been a crazy week, but I mean, I don't know. It's just so much been going on this week with the stock market frenzy. Which, if you catch me on Money Sundays, I want to talk about that tomorrow. So you may want to catch that because that was really crazy. But as we've been talking about the things that's going on currently, we all know that the election is finally over with, and Biden is in office, and the Senate has been sworn in. Everybody is in their places now, but the Republicans wanted to put off Donald Trump trial until February 8th. They didn't want to do it, before the election. So here we are. So this is what brought me to this subject. I mean, even though this subject is something that is highly talked about in the Black Lives Matter movement and with police reform and everything else. The fact that why it seems like when our white brothers and sisters do anything, it's like, oh, let's excuse them, or it's all right. They didn't mean to do it, or let's move on, as Ted Cruz said about Donald Trump. So it's just funny. Now with this insurrection, that's a big one. 5 people got killed, included a DC police officer. But since then, as a result of that, 2 DC police officers also committed suicide. Now, I don't know what rhyme or reason that they committed suicide, who knows, but it has been associated with the insurrection. So people lost their lives. In fact, I mean, I don't even know. I have seen crimes that when people commit crimes and somebody died and they wasn't the direct cause of the death, but in the commission of committing a crime, they got killed. They have to serve time. So the question is, why it looks like Donald Trump is not going to be impeached? Why? Is it because he's Donald Trump? Is it because he's white? It seemed like it's like white privilege here. And, it's hard to believe that had went down and people are ready. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, and people are ready to excuse it already. I remember when Obama was in office, the whole 4 years, I don't remember Obama doing anything. I don't remember nobody getting killed from Obama. I don't remember Obama telling his people to go charge anybody or rip their heads off or show them that we stronger. But yeah, they was always well, let's do this. Let's bring charges up. Let him show his birth certificate. This and that. Even on a lower level, I was looking up the different crimes. As far as the statistics of how many black people commit crimes compared to white people that commit the same crimes, and what's the sentences they get. I'm gonna show you that, and it's kind of fascinating. Now, the report that I seen was the latest was 2017. I don't know if there's one earlier. I tried to look for one, and it probably has. So many interactive things on the website now. I probably just couldn't find it, but it was put in a formal report, and it shows that You know, being white gets you a lot of privileges. We know white people that went to jail. Martha Stewart. Okay, she went to a nice fancy jail. I know it was two different crimes between her and Bill Cosby, but Bill Cosby didn't go to a nice cushiony detention center. Felicity Huffman and her husband, you know, we know that you know, I heard he was in seclusion, not because he did anything wrong, was because, you know, to keep him away from the common element that's in jail. But he's in jail like everybody else, you know, for committing a crime. So, you know, all of that is white privilege. The thing is, sometimes you ask yourself, why, when you talk to your white counterparts, why do they not see white privilege? I don't know. And like I say, anybody out there that want to comment, feel free to comment. Definitely like this video and subscribe. I want to put that in. But why do our white counterparts do not see white privilege the way that we see it? Because we know when we black, it's always going to be circumstances that and you know, in any fact of life, our jobs, when we get stopped by the police, when we go in a store, it's always a level that people of color, not just black, people of color have to, you know, atone to, rather than the white counterparts. Before I get to the chart that I'm gonna show you, Gayle King did an interview with a lady that studied white privilege. And I'm going to show you that because I think she sums it up really well. Let me get to that. And again, I'm not going to show the whole thing, but you could get the essence of what I'm saying. Okay, let's see. Okay, right here.
Language. So I would like you to explain what white privilege is exactly and why white people have such a hard time seeing it, because it's so clear to most Black people I know.
Certainly, and thank you for having me. Well, white privilege is the automatic, taken for granted advantage bestowed upon white people as a result of living in a society based on the premise of white as the human ideal, and that from its founding established white advantage as a matter of law, and today as a matter of policy and practice. And it doesn't matter if you agree with it, if you want it, if you even are aware of it, it's 24/7, 365. And one of the reasons why it's so hard for white people to see it, well, there are many reasons, but one is that it serves us not to see it. We come to feel entitled to that advantage. We're told that we deserve it and that we earned it. And we take great umbrage when that is challenged.
You write too, Robin, in the book that kids from the age between 3 and 4 are intuitively taught that being white is better, that you are superior. I thought that that was an interesting thing, but I find many white Americans today say, listen, I struggle too. I don't have white privilege. What are you talking about?
And I'm really clear that I'm not saying that white people don't struggle or face barriers or work hard, but there's a major barrier in this society, racism, that we don't struggle with, and not struggling against that barrier actually helps us navigate the barriers that we do struggle with. You grew up in poverty. How has being white shaped how you experience poverty and how you get out of poverty, if you do get out of poverty? Again, it's not saying that white Americans don't work hard, but it's a bit like being a fish in a current that impacts the outcome of that work. There's a kind of moving along that amplifies that work. And for people of color, for Black people, you're swimming against a current. And we're both working, we're both swimming, but there's such a different impact on the outcome of that effort.
Ibram, what are the questions that you think white Americans should be asking these days?
Okay, and as you've seen her explain it, you know, it's not the fact that white people haven't had struggles, but we have had, I mean, you know, and you go back in history, from a child, you were taught that you really, from your Black parents, you are taught that you're not as good as your white counterpart, that you have to look down, you can't look them in the face, that they always are superior to you. And that's because, that's what they was taught back in, slavery days. So this has moved down to generations. And that's another reason why white people don't see the privilege, because they feel like, okay, it's no slavery, it's no Jim Crow laws, it's nobody's not forcing anything on you. So, we all equal. But no, we're not all equal, because the same circumstances, but it's not the same outcome. Now we have one person that made a comment, and it says other races. That's right. That's right. And that's why, like I say, white people don't realize it, because just the color of their skin, they are seen different. Even on TV, they show movies where if it's a black cop and a white cop, the black cop is always the one that's making jokes and funny and everybody laughing at. The white cop is always the one that come in and save the day. Any picture, the white guy comes in and saves the day. Even though they have black people in it, the most time the black person gets shot or dead or eaten, and the white guy comes in and saves the day. It's subliminal messages that tell people of color that, they're not on the same level as white people. And all of that equates to white privilege. Now let's go back to, I want to show you this is something funny. I was Googling, and this goes back to, I guess you could say, the insurrection. I don't even know if this guy was a part of the insurrection, but this is what, now that Trump has came out the closet, well, really 4 years he came out the closet, but he pulled all these other white superior, nationalist people out the closet. We are seeing them come out and get bolder and bolder and bolder, showing you even more that, white privilege is here. And as people of color, we're subjected to it. We subjected to the treatment, the racism, and everything else. I'm going to show you, before I show you what I found as statistics, I'm going to show you what this guy was caught with. I think this is in California. Okay, what do we have here? Okay. White privilege card saying Trump's everything. Check this out. You're a member from birth, good to death. Ain't that something? This is the guy. That's the guy that had that. And he was also found with some pipe bombs. And the trip about these people right here, I seen a news report where actually they had to get a federal judge. Could you believe this? Some of these insurrectionists that went back home, and now all the ones that was caught was white. Now you seen it on TV. It's a fact. All of them was white. They went back home to their states, and the local authorities picked them up. But guess what? The local judges was releasing them, on bonds and bails and everything. They had to get a federal judge from DC to overturn these local decisions. Now these people, we talking about the man with plastic handcuffs. We talking about the one that was in Nancy Pelosi's office spinning around in the chair. 5 people died, and they went back home, got arrested, and the judges let them out on bail. Now, you know, as a person of color, that's unheard of. You know, some of these people was policemen, lawyers. Hey, they could have been some judges. You know, I guess, I don't know with the COVID if they could escape the country, but they could escape somewhere. But either way, why should they have their freedom? Your past president, why should he have his freedom? You know, everybody's seen what happened right in front of your face. I mean, people getting knocked down, people, you know, people running, jumping on the desk. But yet, okay, this is what some of the Republicans had to say about that when we talk about why Donald Trump is running free.
Crimes and misdemeanors by inciting violence against the government of the United States.
Now, the House did their job.
He threatened the integrity of the democratic system, interfered with the peaceful transition of power, and imperiled a co-equal branch of government. He thereby betrayed his trust as president to the manifest injury of the people of the United States.
Now they're going to turn around and bring about impeachment, yet they say they're for unity. I mean, they beat him up before he got into office. They're beating him up after he leaves office. I mean, at some point, I mean, give the man a break. I mean, move on.
Well, first of all, I think the trial is stupid. I think it's counterproductive. We already have a flaming fire in this country, and it's like taking a bunch of gasoline and pouring it on top of the fire.
I think it's a moot point because I think right now Donald Trump is no longer the president. He is a former president.
A vote to impeach would further divide this nation. A vote to impeach will further fan the flames of partisan division.
Now, what you think about that?
That's terrible. Those poor hedge funds.
I mean, that is just totally ridiculous. This man committed a crime where people has got killed, but yet it's just move on. Let me tell you what Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz was the main one who, remember when Hillary was they said Hillary was responsible for the death of Benghazi. I mean, I said that right, but I think only 4 people died in that. And, you know, she was affiliated, but she wasn't actually linked to the death. But Ted Cruz was the main one that after Trump became president, he still wanted to put Hillary in jail. Now, remember, an insurrection, and I call it a treasonous act, is the highest crime of the nation. But yet, everybody's picking on him. Everybody, you know, if that's not white privilege, what is it? I mean, why should he be above the law? Let me show you what Ted Cruz had to say. I'm gonna share this with you.
Democrats feel they hate Donald J. Trump, and they're engaging in an act that I think is petty. I think it is retribution. I think it is vindictive, and I think it's a waste of time. And so to coin a phrase, I think it's time to move on. Democrats feel they hate Donald J. Trump, and they're engaging in an act that I think is petty. I think it is retribution. I think it is vindictive, and I think it's a waste of time. And so to coin a phrase, I think it's time to move on. Democrats feel they hate. I
just had to play that again. I mean, move on. You know, the same thing that white people tell us is slavery. Get past it. You know, slavery is gone. Move on. How you gonna move on after just 2 weeks ago? Citizens just did an insurrection against the whole Congress. You know, we a couple of weeks ago, I told you how detrimental that was, having the vice president and Nancy Pelosi and McConnell, all of that in the same place. If they had died, what would have happened to our nation? But yeah, it's not nothing. Move on. You know, like I said, you know, when it comes to crimes smaller than that, we have seen, we just can't move on. When they impeached Donald Trump the first time and it went to the Senate, do you know the Senate voted because they didn't want any witnesses to testify against the crimes that he was charged with? When have a person that's been accused of a crime went to court and the judge refused to hear any witnesses that could convict them? I mean, you have to be white in order to have that happen. I mean, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. Okay, let me show you this report that that not only I'm saying this, okay, you know, the United States government, they have to keep statistics on, you know, how many people they put in jail, the convictions, the, you know, they keep it by race, you know, statistics in general. So this is what I found. Now, this is what the government put out. So it's not what I put out. Okay. So we see we've got these reports that's more current, but look what it say here, because it's a whole big audit report. But the key findings: Black male offenders continue to receive longer sentences than similarly situated white male offenders. You know, so it's not in our heads. The Black male offenders receive a sentence on an average of 19.1% longer than white offenders. And you could go out and read a couple of these points that I'm finna pull down, because I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. But basically, they are saying it themselves. So when we ask for police reform, and, you know, just to be fair, affirmative action, now, you know, not all white people, but a lot of the white males, they hate affirmative action. You know, why do you have to be in a position just because of the color of your skin? And I agree. Why should you have a position just for the color of your skin? I don't think you should. I think you should be qualified. But the reason we have it and the reason we need it is because they don't care if you're qualified. It's white privilege. They don't care if you're qualified. You know, that just because of the color of your skin, you're not going to get the job. You're not going to get admitted to that college. Just because of the color of your skin. So that's why affirmative action is needed. Okay, we got a comment that if he gets off free, he sets a tone for future presidents to commit. Yeah, you know, it's really, I mean, undeniable. And just, you know, I think people of color is so immune to seeing all of this stuff happen in front of our face that we're just immune to white privilege. You know, it's just there. It's just there. And it's just so amazing how, you know, we have some people say that, some white people say they don't see it. They don't see it. But just like that lady said, you know, they don't see it. They don't wish to see it. A lot of them don't wish to see it. You know, I did a video a couple of weeks ago talking about how this ain't the first insurrection. It's not the first insurrection. And I hope if you missed that, go back and look at it. It was a very good video showing that this has happened in the past, after the Reconstruction era. And, you know, they gave us 40 acres and a mule and told us we were going to have this and we were going to have that. And then, you know, mostly the white male, you know, they felt threatened for power and they took it away by overthrowing the government, killing the black political leaders that they put in office. And again, you know, when I went back and read that, nothing was done. You know, it was chose, that's a time in history that people chose to just really move on. That's what they did, move on. And it got swept under the rug. And, you know, the bad thing about it, a lot of us people of color, we don't even go back and read that stuff. We don't even know that happened. That's why a lot of the millennials are shocked that this has happened. But it's not shocking to a lot of us. And think about even, you know how hard a time I'm going back to the hard time that they gave Obama. Now, Obama, you know, he said he was for everybody. And they couldn't really find nothing on Obama. You know, if they did, Lord knows it would have been blown up. But yet, they have, I think she's a senator, or maybe the House of Representatives. I think she's a senator. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is sitting in Congress right now. One of them QAnon, I hope I'm saying it right, QAnon believers. Now, the thing about it, you know, QAnon is these people, part of the insurrectionists that chose to, you know, talking about off with Pence's head and all that stuff. Now, she's in Congress. You know, she just got elected to Congress, so I don't know if she was there that day. But she's one of the people, I know you heard that Nancy Pelosi had said we got an enemy within because she just came to Congress. I mean, she has openly said things that, you know, let's defeat the Democrats. I think she said something about the only good Democrat is, this going to be allegedly, because I don't know if I'm reporting it right, but the only good Democrat is a dead one or something, or either somebody had said that and she liked it. This is somebody that they put in office. And really sad to say, she come from Georgia, but, you know, the hills in Georgia, where a lot of, you know, probably white nationals live. But she also believed in, you know, Hillary Clinton is involved with Satan worship. You know, it sounds crazy, but this lady really believes that. I mean, that's she made a campaign ad where she threatened Antifa with a semi-automatic weapon. Now, this is somebody that we got in Congress right now. Now the Republicans are refusing. They put her on an education committee. Now remember, the education committee is with all people of color, fooling around with all people of color. But they put on an education committee and they refuse to do anything with her. I agree with that comment. It's all walks of life. Like I said, you know, the people that we found was doctors, lawyers. Now we got Congress people that's white nationalists. I mean, and how could you make an open statement like that and still keep your job? And the Republicans, they just want you to move on. That's white privilege. That is white privilege. So to end this session, and I'm glad y'all came and talked and voiced your opinions tonight. We're going to see what happened. Well, it really ain't nothing to see. Pretty much they already told us the Republicans is not going to vote, you know, outside of Mitch Romney, and I think is another one. 2 Republicans out of everybody had said that they would vote to impeach Trump, even though Mitch McConnell openly said that, yeah, he's guilty. I mean, that's a crime. He's guilty, but why prosecute him? I mean, I hate to say it, but what kind of shit is that? I mean, you know, really, you ain't never heard of that before. Especially, I mean, if I commit a crime, and they say, why prosecute? I mean, let's just move on. Okay, but I'm gonna let you go back to Gayle King interview because it's just interesting. So I'm gonna finish it off with letting you see that. And I don't know what's the answer. You know, I had voiced my opinion about taking down these Confederate statues. I do believe, you know, they don't need to be celebrated, but I believe that they should be put somewhere because I think America needs to see, and the young people need to see the ugliness of how divided this country is and how you know, racist and one-sided, and how, you know, just because the color of your skin, you have privilege. So let's go back to Gayle King and just finish that interview because I thought that was interesting to hear. Okay.
And I say this because I don't know any Black friend of mine that hasn't gotten calls from white people all around saying, I don't know what to do. I want to help. I want to be supportive. A Black male friend of mine in Texas said for the first time he was invited on the company retreat, and he's been there 10 years with, you know, his coworkers seeking him out. What are the questions white Americans should be asking?
Well, I think many white Americans claim they believe in racial equality. And so the way you put that to the test is by asking questions about racial disparities. So why is it that unarmed Black people are killed by police too many times and armed white people are simply arrested? Why is it in Minneapolis that Black people are 20% of the population, but 60% of the victims of police shootings? Why is it that the Black unemployment rate is twice as high as the white unemployment rate? And there's only two answers. Either there's something wrong with Black people, there's something superior about white people, or racism.
Ibram, you've said that to end white privilege, you have to deal with racism first, right?
Yes, yeah, and I mean, as Robin, you know, talked about, it is critical for white people, for people in general, to stop denying their racist ideas, to stop denying the ways in which policies have benefited them, to stop denying their racism, and to realize that actually the heartbeat of racism itself is denial, and the sound of that heartbeat is, I'm not racist.
And you know, that's a good point because, you know, we march, and you know, Black Lives Matter, everything, and you know, nothing ever gets done because we keep repeating this cycle and everything. I do believe what he said. We don't have the problem. We already know what the problem is. We don't have the problem, and the power is not in our hands because, you know, we all know, you know, it's the white male that kind of has the power in this world. Okay, so the only way that racism will be squashed and white privilege will be kind of equalized is for white people to solve it. White people have to realize that without knowing it, they have power just because they're white. You know, they get treated different. They have power. So they the one who is going to have to realize what's happening and face it and admit it, and you know, just stop it. I mean, look at what's happening with Trump. Okay, sure, Nancy Pelosi and, you know, a lot of the House and stuff want Donald Trump, you know, impeached, but is it because they got attacked? I mean, you know, that could be it. It's just because they got attacked. You know, we see a lot of injustices. You know, nothing is ever said. Whoever comes to the rescue of the Black man to say, okay, you know, he needs to go to jail. He needs to go to jail because he committed this crime. But yet the Black man, well, you know, I'm not sure if he committed a crime, so let's just let him off. I mean, you know, they have to realize that this is unfair. They know it's unfair. You heard Mitch McConnell say that he committed a crime. So since when could you commit a crime and just get off scot-free? And that's literally what they're doing. So, I just said that to say this, white people is going to have to make other white people force their hand into more equality. Because we don't have the power to do that. We really don't. Only they have the power to do that.
Robin, do you believe that white folks actually care about racial injustice?
It doesn't appear that we do. If you look at what it takes to wake us up, when you look at the explosion of umbrage white people take from the simple claim that Black Lives Matter, from somebody respectfully going down on their knee, all of the outrage about that. And then it takes us literally seeing a man being murdered in front of our eyes to wake us up. That's a really high price to pay for our enlightenment. And it just, I wonder what will happen when all the cameras go away and there's another issue in front of us. And if we don't put something in place to keep our attention and our focus here, the status quo of our society is racism, and it's comfortable for white people. And so we're not going to get there from a place of white comfort. We're going to have to get mighty uncomfortable and inconvenienced. And it appears to me that in 20 years of working with white people, that if it requires anything of us like discomfort or inconvenience, we don't seem to be particularly motivated to do anything.
Exactly. And that's what's happening with this trial right here. After the insurrection, everybody was all up in arms, the Republicans too, okay, yeah, Trump did it. He did it, But see, a few of the smart ones who knew, America's attention span is not that long, So what did they say? Let's just wait until after this election, acting like they're trying to help Biden out. Let's just wait about 2 weeks, give him time for his defense. What defense? Y'all already said you're not going to vote for it. So what defense? You ain't had no defense, but you're giving time for things to kind of settle down and get back to normal. And like she said, as long as they comfortable in it, nobody's pushing it, nobody's pushing it. Well, Nancy Pelosi and them all, but like I said, is it because they the one got attacked? In a normal day, like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, I really don't hear the cries in the street no more, and we just keep repeating this cycle. It's just sad. But, like I said, the power rests with our white brothers and sisters to come to the realization that you have white privilege. And people of color are not trying to take over. They are not trying to rule anything. We just want opportunity. Just opportunity. Just give us a piece of the pie. Give us a little piece of pie. Hell, our ancestors built this nation. I keep saying, along with this administration, I would like to see some recognition that, of the hardship that we did struggle. Reparations. It doesn't have to be in the form of money, but, stuff that was taken away from us. Education was taken away from us. Free education, forgiveness of student loans. Land was taken away from us. Native Americans got land. It's just give us a piece of the pie. That's all we're asking, from our counterparts. But we do not have the power to do that. Our white brothers and sisters had the power to do that. And until they do, and I know it's comfortable to keep on going like it's going, but it's always going to be chaos, because people of color is not just going to lay down. Sooner or later, you're going to have riots again. Like I say, the cycle going to keep on slowing. You're going to have riots again. People going to be out in the street. You just can't keep going on. So Anyway, I just want to leave you with that. Thank you for everybody who came on and chat with Cece today. Like I said, if you like this video, please share it, subscribe so you'll always, and hit the notification bell so you'll always know when I'm coming on. And if you want to come on screen, just let me know and you can come on and give your voice and your viewpoint. Okay, and I hope you join me for Money Sundays. That's tomorrow. But see you later.